Welcome to Acorn to Oak with Penny Quayle Pierce and co-host Matthew Donachie. Within each acorn, there is the DNA that strives to be a mighty oak tree. All it needs to reach its potential for greatness is to be activated. You are the acorn. On this show, we will share with you the tools and guidance you need to grow into the person you are meant to be. And now your host, Penny Quayle Pierce and co-host Matthew Donachie.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the time is over there. I just wanted to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and it's our happy Thanksgiving show called Don't Be Tamed. And basically, the write-up says, don't be tamed by other people's perceptions, worries or smallness. Break for freedom. Be the change you want to see in the world. Step up to the plate and hit a home run. Reconnect with your authentic self and your own inner genius. Be a thought leader. Be an example for others. Be an inspiration that shines like a beacon for everybody to follow back to the divine. We offer you lots of blessings and joy and peace and thanks over Thanksgiving holidays, and hope you reconnect with your authentic self. So, allowing Matthew just to wish you well himself, so I'll just hand over to Matthew.
So good evening or good afternoon, depending where you're listening from. A very happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're enjoying it, whatever you're doing. And just connecting with family and having that real good sort of soul time, I would say. And
good amounts of turkey or goose or what have you decided to celebrate with?
Yeah, so, I wonder, because our traditional is turkey, isn't it, at Christmas? I wonder if theirs is similar.
Yeah, I think at Thanksgiving it's either turkey or goose or something similar to that. And by all means, get in touch with us. Obviously the English don't celebrate Thanksgiving. We have harvest suppers, but they're nothing like the celebrations that you guys have for Thanksgiving. So we miss out on this one. We're going to have to go over to the States sometime, Matthew, and go at Thanksgiving and experience all of the jollifications and the hullabaloo and everything else that goes with it. But I think very much it's a family time, and it's a great tradition to have.
Yeah, I think the Americans do it really well, whether it's Thanksgiving or Halloween. The perception we have in the UK is like, you guys really go all out. And it's lovely to see from our sort of view, all the kids going on Halloween and all the celebrations over the years. The Americans seem to go really all out on it, and I think it's brilliant. Not enough people in the UK do that, so I think it's
any excuse
really good
to have a party. That's what my attitude.
Yes, absolutely.
And also to have fun and to spend family time and all of those things. And I think very much, for me, the don't be tamed is, don't let other people's perceptions or worries or smallness stop you from enjoying time with family and friends and enjoying self, because there's just not enough of that in the world today. Yeah. And it's that's what our show is all about. It's stepping up to the plate and hitting a home run, reconnecting with your authentic self and your own inner genius. Don't worry about what Mrs. Jones down the road is thinking. It's about, living your life as, Michael Caine, the actor Michael Caine, always said about life was, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is the real thing, So it's getting out there and being an inspiration for other people. Laugh loudly, dance wildly, and smile a lot. It's really, really important. And for me, it's you never know when tragedy will strike or life becomes tougher than usual. And it's looking at it and just going, those times you get through as quickly as you possibly can, and then pattern interrupt, what we call at Acorn to Oak, pattern interrupt, and get back on track and get back into alignment with self. And I think one of the things for me around this is always realizing that, we're a spiritual being in a physical bodysuit. And, it's very much realizing that we're bigger and more magnificent than we would ever begin to understand. And it's so important to just keep on living life and realizing you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the divine or God, whatever is your frame of reference. And the universe is there to support you having the best experience that you possibly can, because they're there to help and support you. And we forget that we have this unseen support team that is with us 24/7, and if we'd only ask for help, they will help us and guide us and help us enjoy the blessings and the joy and the peace. And helps us in that. It helps us reconnect with our higher self, which is part of our spirit, which is our authentic selves. And it's really, really, for me, really, really important. I'm so passionate about helping people realise that. Yeah. So back over to you, Matthew.
Yeah, this is such a big subject for me. When I started just reflecting, when we came up with the subject for the show, I started reflecting on how it's impacted my life, and I got a good prediction. Between 15 and 20 years of my life, I've spent my life being tamed by others and allowing myself to limit myself just because of what other people had said. And these can be real sort of side comments from teachers or adults, and we can really take these on board and allow them to affect our lives, because we have a choice. We can either believe what they say and take it for gospel, or actually say, you may think that's true, however, I'm going to prove you wrong, or watch this space, or whatever it be. But it's so important to really respect yourself enough, to love yourself enough, to give yourself any chance of having the best life possible, and don't let anybody rock you. As Penny said, there's obviously certain things in our lives that always happen, that are going to happen, and tragedy can strike. There's certain things we're all going to experience in life, and that is sort of death of family members and friends and that sort of thing. And these things are just to be expected, unfortunately. But it's how we respond to them and how you let it affect you. One thing my grandma said to me just before, it was a few weeks before she died, and I got the amazing chance to go down and look after her for a week, and we had some amazing chats. And although she was sort of slightly delusional at the time, within those sort of moments of dementia, you'd have moments of clarity. And one of the things she said to me is, Matthew, I don't want you to cry when I'm gone. I just want you to be glad and think of the magical times we had. And it was so clear and so precise that actually, yes, we're sad that people have gone, but we can actually be happy and think of all the times that we had. And my grandma was such a pivotal person in my life, or a pole star really, because she was firm but fair, and she always told the truth. And it was, when I was naughty, I got told off, but then I wasn't punished for the rest of the week or the rest of the day whatever it be. And when you have those pole stars in your life, or those people that you look up to, it's listening to the good bits, but not the negative ones. So a lot of people will judge you on what their thoughts are. And we all know if we're thinking something, 99% of the time, it's not true. It's a judgment or an observation from our point of view. And unless you're in that person's shoes, you don't know what they're going through or what they're capable of. So to turn around to somebody and say, oh, well, actually, I don't think you're very good at that, or maybe you should look at a different career path, or whatever it is, that's their judgment on you, and it literally means nothing. I mean, they're talking about themselves. So it's really important just to not take these sort of insults is maybe a bit of a heavy word, but not take these judgments on board. We're all amazing spiritual beings, and we're capable of anything. A lot of people don't realise that we're all just as capable as Einstein. We're all just as capable of Steve Jobs. Like, whatever you want to excel in, you hold just as much power as some of the geniuses that we've seen over years and years. And you think, wow, how did he come up with Apple? Well, like, what an imagination. And you think, I wish I had that. Well, you do. Everybody does. The trouble is we don't realise it. And we listen to other people's judgments and think, oh, I'm not very good at that. I couldn't do this. My grades weren't good at school, so therefore I'm not intelligent. Absolutely rubbish. Maybe you just didn't try hard enough at school. It doesn't mean you weren't intelligent enough. You just didn't find your way of learning.
Yeah, I think that's just so true, Matthew. It's, you know, I'm sitting here. You guys can't see me, but I'm nodding as Matthew's talking. Hey, we English, honestly, I tell you, we're naive sometimes. But I'm nodding my head in absolute agreement, because when I know, and I know you guys, some of you guys know a little bit of my story, but you know, I was diagnosed as being dyslexic. I couldn't read until I was 13, and an awful lot of, you know, career people just turned around to me and said, oh, well, you'll never amount to anything, and oh, you'll never get the exams to become a nurse. And I'm really happy that what I had more than anything else was I learned from adversity, and it was just like, just watch me. I will be something that you will not even think I'm capable of. And, you know, I got enough exams together, and I did train as a nurse. I was a head nurse by the time I was 21, which was one of the youngest sisters, we call them in the UK, sisters in the UK. And I just went from strength to strength. I hit my pace. But, you know, as my mum would say, I've always been a little bit of a late developer. So what? I couldn't read until I was 13. I was very, very right-brained, and I had to train myself to be left-brained. And, you know, now my mantra in life is planning and preparation prevent piss-poor performance. And I stole that from the special forces, army forces in the UK. And it was just, you know, absolutely anybody who told me that I was unlikely to be able to do something, and the comeback on it was always, well, watch this space. I will prove you wrong. You know, and I'm actually getting ready to early next year, have cardiac surgery, and it's like, watch this space. Yes, I have a leaky aortic valve, and it's come to the crucial stage where I need to have it replaced. And an awful lot of people would look at that and go into doom and gloom. Well, for me, it's preparing myself and making sure that everything is covered, like Acorn to Oak is covered, and the radio shows will have different co-hosts coming in with Matthew. and everything will be covered, and it will go seamlessly. And I will recover have the 12-week recovery, and then bang, I will be better than new. So, a leaking aortic valve is just a plumbing problem. It doesn't mean I have a diseased heart. What it means is I'm just not getting enough oxygen, and that's especially to my brain, I think sometimes. But hey, it hasn't stopped me, and it will not stop me. And the only reason I'm talking about this is hopefully to inspire people to realise it doesn't matter what life throws at you. What is important is how you respond to what is thrown at you. And that, we would love you to be able to take that on board. I know you guys are here for Thanksgiving. And, I thank God every day for the experience that I have every day. And, it's just taking that Thanksgiving into the whole of your year, not just on special occasions. So again, hand it back to Matthew so he can put his 2 pennyworth in.
Yeah, I think I love the example because very much I know when you tell people, the first thing they go into is, oh my God, that must be awful for you. And we've spoken about it, but when you handed a situation like that, you're going to have some emotional stuff up, and there's going to be a lot of stories from the brain that's all very terrible. But when you actually gain the clarity around it and just go, right, well, what do I need to do to prepare for this? Because once you know you're prepared and you've got a game plan, it becomes less of an issue. And I mean, certainly from some of the people, a lot of the people I've spoken to, some of the worst experiences or what seem like the worst experiences of their life at the time are actually the most enlightening. I mean, the amount of people that go and sort of have a close to terminal illness or a heavy surgery or whatever it be, it's like this thing happens in their life out of nowhere. And it could be an injury, it could be an accident, whatever it be. But they say afterwards, you know what, I realised how much I wasn't living before. Because when I was faced with the fact that I could live or die, all of a sudden I had this huge rush of passion that I'm not going to waste another second. I'm not going to waste another day. I'm going to do all those things that I wish I had done. And you have that whole wave of creation and clarity where you can say, you know what, I'm not going to sort of waste my time anymore. And so some of these things, although horrific they may seem at the start, actually if you work through it and almost find a reason why is this happening, because actually it can just be, it can be a lesson from the universe, and you can turn what seems to most people like a negative situation into the most positive thing that you ever do in your life. And I think that's really important. There was a racing driver lost his legs in a crash, and everyone was sort of saying, oh, it's terrible, and it shouldn't have happened to him, and it could have happened to somebody else, and this, that, and the other. And he said it really, it turned his life around, but in the most positive way. And I think it's just so powerful when you hear people talk about those experiences where something really terrible happened, but they made the most of it. I mean, certainly one talk that we saw in America earlier this year was Dr. Sean Stevenson, and he shared his story with us. And what I couldn't believe is just how inspiring he was when he told the story that I think it was, and don't quote me on the ages if I get it wrong, but I'm sure it was by the age of about 8 years old. He'd had over 200 surgeries just because he would sneeze and bones would break. And he was so fragile that...
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, I'll continue this after the break because I think there's some really good information in this and some really good quotes from him. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you after the break.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM. Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
I'm Kathy Williams, host of Sexy Mom Abundant Life radio show on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. On the show, we explore living abundantly in every area of your life. Ways to let go of limiting patterns and beliefs and to step into the flow of creativity and possibility, knowing you are supported by the universe.
We are talking about your life. Ever wonder, is this as good as it gets? No, it could be so much better. At Acorn to Oak, we know you are seeking more happiness, joy, unconditional love, financial freedom, passion, and purpose. Find your unique mojo and live an extraordinary life. Want to know more? Contact us at our website, acorntooak.org.uk.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
So, hi guys, we're back from the break, and I want to hand over to Matthew pretty much straight away because he was just getting into the flow there.
Brilliant. But yes, I was talking about Dr. Sean Stevenson. He's known as, I think it was a 3-foot giant, and obviously had over 200 surgeries before even his teenage years. And you think, when I saw him sitting on the stage, I just found it incredible that someone who had been through so much would just keep getting up and just keep going and keep going and keep going. And he talked about it as almost, it was this great experience, and it was his mission to inspire millions of people into, when you get knocked down or you get told that you're not going to survive. I mean, I think his parents were told when he was younger that he wouldn't make it to 24 months. And it was only last year that he sort of decided to leave planet. And he did do the work that he's came to do. He has already inspired millions and will continue to inspire millions year after year, just because of the TED Talks he's done and some of the information. And it really hit home with me how lucky I am and how much more he could have done it with an able body, and I could have done with my able body. And it really made me think, well, you've really got to step things up now, because if someone can do that, I can't possibly do less and be happy with myself, because it's kind of like we have to have this passion and this drive, and it's don't buy into what anybody else says. If you have a wish and you have a dream, follow it, see it through. My current mission is to get sort of the truth out to as many people as I can, especially around Breath for Life breathwork, and helping clients and helping people completely flip their lives around, because to me that's the most amazing job ever is to help people change their lives, as Penny has with me and the team from Acorn to Oak. And it's not just paying back what I've been given, but it's taking it out and just
Absolutely.
getting it out to as many people, because I think that's very much what my mission is inspiring people to change their lives and show them that there is a different way. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, I think very much so. I mean, I very, in my 30s, I basically I hit a rock bottom at that stage, and just basically put out a demand to the universe, basically, or a request to the universe of send me the right teachers. I need some help in direction here. And very luckily, the teachers arrived, and the first teacher that arrived for me was Christina Thomas, or who later went on to be called Christina Thomas Fraser when she got married. And she helped me see that there was a better way of doing life, and one of the first situations I had with her when we were just talking about emotional intelligence and using the tool Mad, Sad, Glad, Scared was be very English, when I was asked that, and I went, absolutely, stiff upper lip sort of attitude of, yes, I'm happy sort of attitude. And she went around the whole group, and there were about 20 people in the group, and then she sat there and it was her turn to share how she was feeling, and she was saying, she actually sat there and said, I feel a bit agitated, I feel a bit off balance, so that, and she was basically saying, that's sad, that's mad, and a little bit anxious, so scared. It was like a bomb went off in my head. And she was just about to finish, and I had been the first person to talk, and I said, I just had to say, excuse me, could I have another go? And she looked at me and went, yes, okay. And I said, I am sick and tired of telling people lies. What I want to do is be authentic. I feel like shit. I don't like my life. I am desperately unhappy. I am a very successful professional, but this is how I actually feel. And she sat there, and her eyes just filled up with love. And she just looked at me and said, thank you for getting me. And I have never done anything else ever in my life but be real from that moment onwards. It was a pivotal moment in my life. And it is astonishing when you realise and you just get that I just want to be my authentic self. I don't want to take it out on anybody else. I don't want to do any drama. I just want to be authentically who I truly am. And when you get that, you can move mountains, you can create companies, you can be inspiring, you can pay it forward, you can shine like a beacon for other people to follow. And I would truly say to you, you want to be able to get back to that space in your life, because then every minute of every day is exciting, it's joyful, it's peaceful, and you give thanks for it. So for me, it is my life since then has been in service to others, helping them to find that within themselves, whether that just be in a moment, or whether that be for a day, or whether that be for 2 days, or the rest of their lives. It's just giving them a pearl beyond price, so that they can hug that pearl to them when think life becomes tough again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something that very much a lot of our clients get to the stage where it is kind of like enough is enough, and they can be very successful professionals, but there's just something missing. A lot of the entrepreneurs sort of that we work with, they have had varying success within their lives, and some have built pretty successful companies, but they still feel limited, and it's this feeling that something's missing. And I think, again, like I was saying earlier, it's sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you actually realise you're at rock bottom, and something needs to change. And it is very much for a lot of people is that disconnection, feeling disconnected from life, because we're taught when we're younger about love and compassion and family time, and those being the important things, and then you grow up in this material world where it seems as though looks matter, and it's all about how much money you've got and what car you drive, and it just drives you further away from your authentic self, because you think, well, hang on a minute, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Life does seem difficult. It is almost like a battle. So a lot of people do find that they're hitting this rock bottom. And my advice would be, if you do feel yourself like you're getting slightly off track, or it's like try and take the action before it gets any worse. So many people are feeling like this at the moment. And the fortunate thing is there's a lot more awareness around this. Obviously, the emotional intelligence work, I know very much in the corporate world in America, when we're coaching, it's emotional IQ, and that is key. Emotional, sort of dealing with emotional stuff, it is the key to being happy.
Yeah,
and it's the one thing we're not taught at schools.
I know, but as long as, I suppose for me the most important thing to add with that is, as long as it's authentic, as long as it's not drama. Again, I was in a situation last week where we were helping somebody gain clarity. And all they could present was what I would call their woundology. It's this. I'm never going to be any good because I was diagnosed with epilepsy and this and that and the other. And it was just like the way it was, this person was dealing with it, it was like they were presenting badges of honour rather than i.e. woundology, but it was like badges of honour. Oh, well, I have this, so I can't possibly do anything. I have that, so I can't possibly do anything. And it was just like being thrown, and it wasn't until it was gently and empathetically shown to her what she was doing that she actually went, oh my God. It's like, I said, it's like you've strung a pearl of beads around your neck, which is now strangling you. And if you can take these beads off one at a time and examine them and look at them and realise they're not worth anything. And once you can let them go, you can start to string a new necklace with, pearls beyond price. And you can take back your self-worth and your self-esteem. You can take back your power. You can actually make new empowering decisions and begin to look at actually the blessings. Look at the joy of actually having a incredibly resourceful body, because my word, she did take very, very good care of herself because those diagnoses of disease processes had presented themselves in her life. So in fact, she was incredibly fit and very good at nutrition and had learned all sorts of different things, and trying to get her to realise the blessings that these issues had brought her, because she was an expert in a lot of different fields. And so it was just looking at it and just flipping the coin slightly so that she could see it from a totally different perspective. And I think sometimes when we, again in the UK we call it doom and gloom, when we have the doom and gloom brigade, which, I'm never going to get better. And, it's like stroking your cheek and going, doesn't it feel so bad? Doesn't it feel so bad? And it's those positive strokes of going, well, it's all right for you, but it's never going to be okay for me. And when we do that type of behaviour, it's never going to change for us, because we just keep on stroking our cheeks and going, and it's the doom and gloom brigade, or the woe brigade. That's another way of putting it. Oh, woe is me.
Yeah, I mean,
it does a great one. He actually caught. What do you say normally when you're dealing with people?
It's not something. It's everything. It's like, when you get those people, and it's like, it's just everything, and it's always woe is them, and it's all right for everybody else, and this, that, and the other. And more often than not, you find they're the people we call them couch potatoes. So they're the ones that will sit at home, moan about how rubbish life is and how bad thing always comes their way, and they're never getting great experiences. And you think, well, how are you going to have these wonderful creative experiences when you're not willing to get off your own sofa? And it's something that we have over here. We have, obviously, we have benefit systems. So if you're out of work, there's a system whereby that you can get bills paid, you can get food provided, and all that sort of thing, which is great for people that deserve it. But we have a whole load of people that think they're entitled to sit around and do nothing and get paid by the government for doing that. And when you're at work, I believe I'd be a blue-collar man in America, so I'm a hard-working guy. I've always grafted all my life, and so you have a little bit of sort of reaction to when people are sitting on their arses getting paid for it and doing nothing about it. And this is what we're talking about. People will say, oh, well, I'm out of work and there's not work out there and this, that, and the other. And well, you're not going to find work in your living room. You need to go out there and find it and actually put some effort in. And this is what people don't get. They just want like a free meal card. It's like this. It's like the arrogance of ego that they think they're entitled to a millionaire's lifestyle just because they were born. So. And some of the other doom and gloom that I find we have over here as well, especially we call it the love and light brigade, but to you in America they're fluffy bunnies, it's amazing how many people have that an amount of knowledge around spiritual, but then they think they can just think themselves enlightened. And I think it was Carl Jung said you don't become enlightened by imagining, if you can just... Figures of light, that's the one, thank you.
Yeah.
And it is this whole...
When you imagine figures of light, you become enlightened when you own your own shadow.
That's the one, thank you.
I'm paraphrasing it.
And I think it's really powerful, because that is what a lot of people think. They think they can just think it and be it and it happens, but you have to put that action in. So we'll speak to you after the break.
conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. Om Times Radio, IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of Om Times Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from New Thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
We are talking about your life. Ever wonder, is this as good as it gets? No, it could be so much better. At Acorn to Oak, we know you are seeking more happiness, joy, unconditional love, financial freedom, passion, and purpose. Find your unique mojo and live an extraordinary life. Want to know more? Contact us at our website, acorntooak.org.uk.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
So we're back from the break, and one of the things I wanted to just talk about for a few minutes is it's Thanksgiving. So you're at home and you're doing all sorts of different stuff, and I wanted to give you a game to play. And we play this game at Acorn to Oak with alarming regularity, and it's called the Rant. And the rant basically means that you pick a subject that you're going to have a rant about. And it could be something like a bus timetable. It could be that there's people who maybe on your commute, you want to rant about them. It could be quite a hilarious rant. It could be a very happy rant. You may want to be ranting about, I don't know, pajamas or whatever it is. And you start off with verbally ranting for 2 minutes. And then you do a non-verbal rant for 2 minutes. So it may be gestures, it may be just noises, it may be stomping, it may be doing whatever it is. And obviously someone's timing you. So you do a 2 minute verbal rant, a 2 minute non-verbal rant, and then you go down. The next round is a verbal rant for a minute and a non-verbal rant for a minute. And then the third round is you do 30 seconds rant, verbal rant, and then a 30 second rant, and then a 30-second non-verbal rant. So it's got 3 stages to it. And we've played this game on retreats with all sorts of different participants. So it's, it could be 5 or 6 participants, it could be 20 participants, and then we break up into groups and people are doing their rant. And it's really quite amazing, and it's quite a liberating tool. But some of the best rants I have ever heard are, some of the positive rants about their soup being cold. Matthew, by the way, did if it's okay to share this, did a fantastic rant on mosquitoes and the need for mosquitoes. I've also had somebody turning around to me and saying, oh, well, I can't rant because I just don't get angry. And then did the most incredible takeoff of Billy Connolly having a rant about something or other. And absolutely hilarious. And I think what is so important about ranting is, the rest of the group who are listening to the rants, their job is to listen to every single word. Because I think in normal everyday life, when someone goes off into a rant, we tend to walk in the opposite direction. We tend to look away and not give them any attention. They don't feel like they're being heard. All sorts of different scenarios. So I would like you to give you that challenge for a Thanksgiving game. Do a rant, because my word, the people who have done rants just feel so energised by it afterwards. So again, I'm going to just ask Matthew, because I've seen him do a few different rants, being the facilitator of them. And did you enjoy them? What did you think of them?
Yeah, I mean, for me, what was really interesting, I remember that the first time I did a rant, and I was in a group of on a facilitation course, and although I was early on in my training, and these guys were sort of practitioners, so I'm in this room of people, and I thought I couldn't possibly do this, and it's just picking a subject, and it doesn't matter what it is. And for the men out there, it could be about women not being able to drive, and then for the women it could be about the men that can't drive and claim that women can't drive, sort of thing. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just picking a subject and having a rant about it. And as Penny said, you can use lots of different emotions. And I think when I did one rant on retreat, I literally couldn't think of a subject, and I was sat there telling myself, I can't do this. I've got nothing to talk about. And I just literally gave it up and thought, right, what am I going to talk about? And the first thing that came into my head was cake. And I thought,
I remember that one.
yeah, and literally I said, right, I'm going to rant about cake and how amazing I think it is. And it's amazing how things just sort of erupt when you just let something out. It was about my love for cake and this, that, and the other. And I managed to get through the first couple of minutes, I think, at which point I thought, I've lost it, the subject's gone. And then I just came out of nowhere, there's Madeira cake, and obviously there's a country called Madeira, and I thought, I want to go to the beach in Madeira where the beaches of cake. And some of the things that people come out with in rants may not necessarily make sense, but they're so entertaining to the people watching. And I mean, some of the rants that I've witnessed, you can literally be in stitches, and it doesn't matter whether the person's being joyful or whether they're in pure rage over something. Because more often than not, when we're in rage around something and we're ranting, it's only when you finish the rant you realise sometimes that it's way over the top. But because it's so genuine, when the person's exploring it and putting it across, it's just magic for the people watching, and people get so much from it. It's such a good experience to do. I know I've done sort of 6 or 7 now, and they're just great fun. So yeah, I think what a great suggestion when you're with the family, and that is having a rant. And I wouldn't sort of do it too personal. So if you're round at Thanksgiving and you have a rant about your mother-in-law, that's probably not the most appropriate. I would choose a slightly different subject if it were me. But it is just very much about just having a rant about something. It could be the fact that you don't like petrol cars or whatever it be, but just have a go.
I was talking to Chris earlier on, and obviously it's cold where he is at the moment. It may be having a rant about the cold weather.
Yeah. I mean, who thought winter was a good idea? I mean, who really? I mean, why couldn't we just have spring and summer and autumn? I mean, there is no need to get that cold.
However, I don't mind it up in the mountains because then you can ski. But anywhere else, it's not appropriate.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, I mean, I've got relatives that live in Canada, and I know that sort of you get huge falls of snow out there, sort of meters deep, and things carry on. Well, we get 10 millimeters of snow over here, and it's like shut down. We just don't. We have the resources to solve the problem, but more often than not, we don't look forwards enough. So it'll be nice and warm one day, and then all of a sudden we've got snow and the country's shut down, and it's really quite incredible.
All the resources for the snow are up in Scotland, and the snow.
Yes, and can't get down here. So we always have a good rant around that. It's kind of like, well, we don't mind that there's snow, but if it could just be more convenient, if it could let the weatherman know when it's coming, then we can get the resources ready, and then we can actually enjoy it when it does come, because people end up resenting it.
Having them in the right part of the country would be good. Anyone would think we were a massive country. I mean, we're not even as big as New York State, for heaven's sake, and that's the whole country. And you would have thought that we could have got our acts together. So, but no, not yet.
Yeah, and especially over here in England, we love to moan about the weather. So when it's cold, it's like, oh, I can't wait for it to be warm. And then as soon as the warm weather comes, oh, well, yeah, it's a bit too hot, isn't it? And then, of course, it goes cold again, and everyone's like, oh, well, I wish it was hot again. And it's kind of like, whatever the given weather, we still have an issue with it. Could it not just be 2 degrees less?
About it. So I hope you've realised what we're doing here is we're just showing you different ways of having a rant and all sorts of different topics that you can actually have. And what you actually find is energetically, you're actually using your throat chakra, you're using your communication center, and you're just freeing it up. So in doing that, in using your voice and having a little bit of a laugh and a joke around having a rant, whether that be, an angry rant, or whether it's a hilarious rant, or whether it's a really happy rant, whatever it be, what you're actually doing is you're getting your communication center, which is your throat chakra, working. And the more you use it, the more it works, the more you can bring in more positive energy. And, that's the one thing about all of the things that we talk about at Acorn to Oak is energetically, it's absolutely sound. And we don't waste time at Acorn to Oak. We don't waste time. We like things that are effective. We like things that work. We wouldn't even bother showing up if they didn't. So, that's one of the other gifts I would love to give you for Thanksgiving is just keep it real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else you want to say, Matthew? We've got a few more minutes before the end of the show.
I think just to share, I think one of the best rants I've probably seen was someone ranting about the fact that they didn't like ranting. And it was just amazing to watch, to see someone stand up and say, do you know what, I'm just so angry because I don't like ranting and I never know what to say. And then it was like a comedy act from there on in, because you could just see, like you say, you just see people light up and they just naturally get into that passion. And they were stating that they were frustrated, that they felt they couldn't do something. And it was just amazing because the clarity he gained as he ranted, that actually he was very good at it and did enjoy it. It was just one part of him that was telling himself he wasn't good at it, and therefore he said he wasn't going to enjoy it. And it just an incredible experience. As I say, to watch other people do it. And it's another way of getting people to really put themselves out there. So a lot of people would sort of say, I'm not very good at getting up in front of a classroom and this, that and the other. And it's never about exposing people, but it's about allowing people to realise just how powerful they are and how many skills they have that they don't realise they have, because they've always told themselves they're not very good at it. Oh, I'm not very good at public speaking, or I close up in front of people, and then they do a rant and they just do have this high, and they realise that it's only ourselves that hold ourselves back, and usually it's the mind. It wouldn't be the heart, it would be the mind. So don't be a prisoner of your own mind.
Don't be tamed. And just to remind you of the process again, it's 2 minutes of verbal rant, 2 minutes of non-verbal rant, then you go for a minute of verbal rant, a minute non-verbal rant, and then 30 seconds of verbal rant and 36 of non-verbal rant. We really hope you have a fantastic day and holiday season in the United States, and